What happens next in SB 403? On May 12th, the California State Appropriations Committee is going to hear on this bill because no funds have been allocated for it. So it's very possible that it could just fall here or fail here, although I suspect that the Soros ecosystem has already greased that pipe to go through and become law. Just look at the speed at which they are executing here. But I want you to just pause for a minute and understand the import of this SB 403. Whose brainchild is this? I'm reading from a tweet that Hindu Act has sent out. Imagine the daughter of a Hamas supporter and the granddaughter of a Nazi stormtrooper be a co-author of a non-scientific survey that is used to make laws that profile American Jews. That's exactly what is happening in SB 403, except that it is not the Jews, it is the Hindus. The tweet goes on to say, that will be repugnant, never be allowed to happen, and rightfully so. Then, why is the Equality Lab's fake caste survey co-authored by the daughter of a Hizbul Mujahideen supporter, a banned Islamic group in US, and the granddaughter of Pakistan Army officer who took part in the 1971 genocide in Bangladesh, being used to make anti-Hindu caste laws in Seattle and California? Now, they have passed some critical hurdles. However, it's in our hands to pull them back. Well, I'm hearing a lot of interesting things. Let's just wait and see how things play out. But I want to kind of show you what lies ahead in SB 403 and how well the system has been streamlined by the Soros organization. Well, important thing that needs to be taken away is you have to keep hammering away at the truth that caste discrimination is already covered in the US Constitution. This is admitted to as much by Wahab in the bill. In the reading of the bill, it says that it's already covered. Then why insert caste? Why not insert something else? Kafir. Because if kafir is inserted, then anyone who takes the name kafir implies automatically that they're going to kill the other person. So this is the amount of venom that is being injected in this. And let us wait and see how this final form and shape this SB 403 is going to take. But Hindus have finally woken up. If you have not, please do watch this video. This slide deck will show you how this ecosystem had been planned months ahead. Did you see this vote taking place in CA Senate? Well, if you see the pulpit from where you're going to say yes or no, you directly saw, who did you directly see? You saw Aisha Wahab standing there. You also saw the yes. Well, you can also say no, right? Why not put yes and no side by side to make it sound like people can choose yes or no? But this whole thing was a joke because 9 Democrats and 2 Republicans. So you know when something has been rigged, that this is how it's going to play out. And I can bet you my bottom dollar every step of the way, unless people turn out in numbers on the streets and start vocalizing their protests, this is going to continue. Look at the next slide. This was how Lily May managed to lose the state Senate election. In the primary, she won, but when it came to the final, suddenly Aisha Wahab managed to sneak ahead by about 15%. Now, why did this happen? Well, evidently, some stories floated around about Lily May that people found a little bit uncomfortable, and that was one of the reasons why they voted in favor of Aisha Wahab. Remember, both are Democrats. Most of the California state is, I think, 70% Democrat, if I'm not wrong. And California and Fremont constituency, the area around which this state Senate district is, probably even higher, because many people feel like, they are Democrats, especially immigrants, right? That has to change. Don't have to be a Democrat. You can be an independent. Then you can choose which way or which person is best suited to fill the role for which that person is contesting. That way, what happens is you're not committing your vote. In fact, being an independent helps a lot. You get a lot less spam. Neither Democratic spam will come, nor the Republican spam will come. So there are some benefits to being independent. You'll have to do your homework, of course, but that most of us do anyway, right? I mean, when we get our ballot. It's like a huge 8 feet long ballot with several things to vote for. So we have to do our research and understand what are the issues involved, get a little bit more bearing, especially on the ones where this concerns your future, your children's future. Now, this was a tweet that was put out by Aisha Wahab, and then there was a follow-on by Ro Khanna just a couple of days ago that, the two met. See, the interesting thing here is there was a town hall meeting last month. And in that town hall meeting, Ro Khanna, it was a town hall meeting of Ro Khanna, he was specifically asked, what do you support or not support SB 403 that Aisha Wahab is introducing in the state senate? I mean, Aisha Wahab is in the same constituency as Ro Khanna. Ro Khanna is representing the constituency in the United States Congress. It's the central body. And Ro Khanna said that I don't normally comment about state matters. Fair enough. So he wants to stay above the race. Great. Now, imagine our surprise when a few weeks before that, Ro Khanna pleaded with Narendra Modi to take back a judicial verdict against Rahul Gandhi, disqualifying him. Wait a minute. Didn't you just say that you don't like to indulge in politics at the state level, but it's okay to indulge in the international level? You have to decide, guys. I'm not saying that this is right or wrong. I'm just feeling that these kinds of stances make it sound like Ro Khanna is a bit disingenuous. Go look it up if you don't understand the meaning of that word. Okay. But this is the kind of politicians that we have in our midst, and it's up to us whether we want to continue with them or not. I'm just going to show you some feedback that has been coming on Twitter. Many of them are direct. They're saying, I feel sorry if I voted Democrat all these years. Here is Sheila saying, hope they both lose the next elections big time. Feel sorry that I voted Democrat all these years. So done with these hateful bigots. I mean, you can read these things. It does make you feel like, how did things go so horribly wrong? Because this SB 403 was a deliberate slap. It's a stinging slap that's probably hurting even today as to how one thought that, well, Afghan American is kind of like us, let us give her a break, and they voted only to be, the bigger problem now is that she is not even looking at her Hindu American constituency, won't give any meetings. And even if some meetings are allowed, those are only with her staff who are as ill-informed as her. But what is this problem? What is the fear to face the people who voted for you, Aisha? What is the problem? Do you feel a little pang of conscience that, well, I promised them one thing and I'm doing something against? Do you even know what caste is? Do you know that there is no such thing as caste? Caste was introduced by the Portuguese in India. I mean, if somebody asks me what my caste is, I'm going to reply, none of your business. Okay, you cannot pin me down on my caste. Then how do you plan on saying that I'm discriminating on caste? Because that's exactly what the CRD, the Civil Rights Department of California, tried to do on one of the engineers of Cisco, and they lost. I mean, this tells you that people without any knowledge of the actual case just jump in thinking that, oh, there is a word discrimination put up by somebody who has no clue, who has never lived her life in India. And then she has a co-author who I just read out the antecedents of. And this is whom you want to, allow us to follow. What nonsense is this? This message has to keep on hammering. Equality Lab is a unequal, useless fraud organization that has put out a dubious survey, and that survey has been used as a basis for passing many resolutions because this was completely greased all the way through. Now, if you look at the constituency itself, this comprises of Sunnyvale, Santa Clara, these are big cities, parts of San Jose, Milpitas, Fremont, Union City, Newark, Hayward. You need to help educate all your friends, because if this passes, I'm telling you, long-term effects for Hindu Americans will be disastrous. And it is a focused bill to try and put pressure on one community of United States, which Most people say that it comprises of 1% of the population and it pays 6% of the United States tax base. Make your money work for you. Next time you have a photo op and you give out $3,300 donation, make sure that along with that, you first give a list of things, say, you do half of these things, then I'll give you the money. Make sure they pay you. They do your job first before you give them their donations. Otherwise, this is not going to happen, because worse is headed California's way. Why do I say that? Gavin Newsom is going to be termed out. He has had 2 terms as a governor. He's done. By the way, he barely escaped his recall recently. So if Aisha Wahab is subjected to a recall, who knows what could happen. But then the bill would already have passed that level. Although I don't know what happens if the person who is pushing through bills has all those things. What happens to the credibility of these bills? I mean, if people will still feel like, no, we have to still vote for it. I don't know. But I still can't understand what Soros has in it for Hindu Americans. So that brings the question, is it Soros or is it somebody else? Is it like, Muslim Brotherhood? Is it somebody else like the deep state in some country? Who knows? But what I know is this is wrong. And that has to be defeated. Okay, so look at this person. Who is she? She is the current Lieutenant Governor of California. Her name is Eleni Konalakis, and she started out in 2018 as a politician in California, and then she became the Lieutenant Governor in 2022, and just recently she announced that she would be running for governor. Well, okay, so 100 people will be running for governor. So what is so unique about it? Well, go back and look at who she worked for before this. No brownie points for guessing it right. Mr. Soros. So Soros is directly putting his candidate on the 4th largest GDP-wise country in the whole world. That is the clout that this group is going to have. So I'm sorry. I feel really afraid for myself as to what is going to happen. So Eleni is really campaigning hard, and you can expect that she will eventually win, because like I said, it's 70% Democrat. Whoever wins the Democratic nomination will be the person who will be also becoming the governor of California, next governor of California. A lot of bad things are headed Hindu Americans' way. We need to stand up and fight for what is right. There is no caste. Don't say anything about caste. Caste is none of anyone's business. Because once you start explaining, it's a way down slippery slope. They'll find some counter argument. Basically, these people have nothing else to do except fight, because they're getting paid for fighting, not for working. You and I have a daytime job. We are doing this thing because we are passionate, and we know that this is a blatant lie. Thanks for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe to our channel, and don't forget to click on the bell button.